when NBA legends fight each other. This will be interesting. Legends beefing it out to the end.
I like these kind of videos.
I wonder who's going to be in there.
Let's see.
Before we get into the video, guys.
Make sure you smash that subscribe and the follow button.
From political battles to betraying your teammates to beef on social media, these are NBA legends who hate each other. And first, Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo had a beef for so long, it ended with them exchanging fluids. See, in 2009, Rondo went after Chris Paul by saying, "You'll never win a ring."
Chris Paul having some things to say was separated a little bit there.
You know, and I think Rondo started it by coming over. You got to leave that alone if you're Rajon Rondo.
And over the years, things would only get worse. Because it didn't matter if they were on the floor or off it. These two couldn't stop touching each other. And in October of 2018, during a Lakers-Rockets game, they decided to settle the beef. See, Ingram and Harden had a scuffle that quickly died down. And while all that was going on, Rondo and Chris Paul had a chance to smooch each other.
It's hot now. Paul punches a throw. Paul and Rondo throwing punches. Ingram comes in. He's throwing punches. There's going to be suspensions for this one as Rondo immediately heads back to the locker room.
And right after the fight, Paul Pierce said the fight was overdue.
I am not surprised at all. I'm surprised that this is their first fight, actually.
Oh my gosh, my favorite point guard, Chris Paul, man. Chris Paul, man. What's up, man? You ain't Chris Paul?
Oh, is that Rondo? So that guy, I've seen his videos. He goes around trolling celebrities. He'll go up to a celebrity and be like, he'll say, "Oh, let's just say it's Jay-Z.
Yeah.
No, Kanye West, bro. Kanye." Jay-Z will be like he just trolled him, innit? So he's done that to Rondo, saying Chris Paul.
You trigger him.
That's a mad one.
Oh my gosh, my favorite point guard, Chris Paul, man. Chris Paul, man. What's up, man? You ain't Chris Paul?
Nah, who are you?
Oh, you ain't Chris?
But these next two players took
That's
their
a
beef
wild
to
one.
the next level.
Charles
See, the story
Barkley.
shows exactly
I
what
love
happens
Charles.
when a serial winner teams up with a serial loser. Pippen and Barkley once admired each other, but once they became teammates, it quickly turned deadly. In 1999, Michael Jordan retired from the NBA for a second time, and Scotty Pippen needed to find a new team, so teaming up with Barkley looked like the dream destination. But that didn't come without warning. See, even though Barkley was one of the top players in the league, Mike let Scotty know that things wouldn't be the same.
Charles Barkley, I told, would never win because he doesn't dedicate himself to winning.
Now, at that time, Jordan and Barkley were real close, so Mike knew exactly what he was talking about, because Chuck ended up being injured for the early parts of the season, and Scotty was playing the worst basketball of his career. So the next year, Scotty wanted out, but he wasn't going to leave without disrespecting Chuck.
He could never expect an apology from me. If anything, he owed me an apology for coming and play with his sorry fat butt. He's a very selfish guy. He doesn't show me the desire to want to win. That's my reason for wanting to get away from playing
That's
with
wild
him
what you say.
Yeah, the beef was officially on, so Chuck doubled down.
As you know, I always carry a gun with me. So if I get arrested for murder, y'all know he didn't apologize.
Damn.
Chuckster really pulled up the Uno reverse card. I mean, imagine going from this to this. But there's one guy who's even crazier. See, Ray Allen thought it would be a good idea to beef with a team that included this guy. Look, the Celtics were one of the top teams in the East, but after they won the championship in 2008, every year ended in heartbreak. And after some tense moments with Rajon Rondo, Ray Allen decided it was time for a change. So in that offseason, he decided to change the meaning of teammate. Remember the hate between Rajon and CP3? Yeah, Ray decided to push for Rajon to be traded for his biggest nemesis. And once Rondo heard about this, he was cooked.
They had beef, and so they boxed it out. They put on gloves. They put on gloves and really threw hands.
You watched it.
I watched it.
But in 2012, Ray Allen would double down by jumping ship to the most hated team in the East and the Celtics' worst enemy. Yeah, he teamed up with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh to create the biggest super team since the Incredibles. Now, this was Kevin Garnett's worst case scenario.
When all of the friction or whatever existed between you and Ray Allen happened, what I said publicly was this: he's the enemy, because he went to the enemy. It's not that he departed from Boston. It's that he went to the very team that they considered the enemy more than anybody, which was the Miami Heat. Am I right or wrong in saying that?
You're unquestionably right, and I agree with everything you said.
Garnett's feelings were forever crushed. And while the 2008 Celtics squad are still close to this day, one face is always missing. From once brothers to not even being able to look at each other in the eyes. Now, next up, we got two goals from two completely different generations. One fighting for Afro-American social justice while getting buckets for fun, and the other who's a serial liar.
What's your biggest takeaway so far?
Very smart man. Very, very, very smart man.
while getting...
What's this thing about LeBron and lying? Apparently he gets caught lying a lot in interviews. I don't know if he's doing it to troll or if he's like genuinely
like we
lying.
should see these interviews.
What is it, guys? Like, correct us.
Yeah.
For fun. In 2020, LeBron James, just like the rest of the world, was sick and tired of COVID and decided to jump on Instagram and make a harmless joke. This apparently was an issue for Kareem, going so far as calling it a blow to LeBron's legacy. But that was just the beginning, because later that year against the Pacers, LeBron hit a big three and let everyone know he had some big balls. Now, this was the worst sight ever for the old man. So he hopped on camera and sent shots.
LeBron was fined $15,000 for doing a big ball stance after the Lakers win over the Pistons. For me, winning is enough. Why do you need to do a stupid, childish dance and disrespect the other team on the court?
Fast forward to 2023.
What do you guys think about that?
I wouldn't like to see that, I'll be honest.
What, him doing that dance?
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Is it that deep though? He didn't pull his child. He didn't take his shorts down and show his balls to the crowd.
I don't know. I just don't need to see you grabbing up your bits and bobs and that kind of stuff. I think a lot of people would like it, but I personally don't want to see none of that.
Well, I think it's just a good way to sell tickets and create hype, because then he's creating like a rivalry, you know, and then it creates excitement. That's my opinion.
And things hit a whole new level. See, Kareem was once NBA's all-time leading scorer, a record held for 40 years. But LeBron was out to alter history. And while Kareem did show up to congratulate LeBron, you could feel this wasn't a bonding session.
We were here a couple... That I will never retire!
Legends from different generations not appreciating each other is just bad for the game. But in the mix of generations, we can find the Chuckster versus pretty much anyone. See, Charles Barkley is known as the biggest hater on the planet, but his hate for Kevin Durant went over the limit. Now look, the relationship between these two has never been right, because in the 2022 playoffs, KD and the Nets were getting their asses whooped, and Chuck was sick and tired of it.
I don't want to badmouth the dude, but see, you guys always talk about that championship stuff. I try to tell y'all, all these bus riders, they don't mean nothing to me. If you ain't driving the bus, don't walk around talking about you a champion.
Even though KD won 2 NBA Finals MVPs, this had Durant so irritated, he gathered Chuck's old photos playing on super teams with legends like Scotty Pippen, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Dr. J, and took some of his own shots. But Chuck still wasn't done getting under KD's skin. See, Chuck went on another show and doubled down.
He's very sensitive, great player. He's part of that generation who think he can't be criticized.
Chuck called his enemy out by name, so KD got his fingers in position and let it rip. Let's be real.
We know KD's Twitter fingers. He has burner accounts. He has Twitter fingers. He's on it when it comes to Twitter. He was waiting. See how quick the typing was.
KD would smoke the Chuckster in a one-on-one. But this next beef is just bizarre, because it had 2 NBA legends fighting over a child cake. See, Shaq and Dwight Howard had careers that were nearly identical. They were both drafted #1 overall to the Magic, got traded in the middle of their careers to the Lakers, and they were even the worst free throw shooters in the league. Now, Shaq built his identity as being the most dominant center of all time, so he always compared himself to Superman. I mean, he had Superman-themed cars, an entire mansion dedicated to the superhero, including a life-size statue, and made his love for Superman official with a Man of Steel tattoo. And as Shaq strong-armed his way to 4 championships, he thought nobody could take his name. But in 2008, Dwight Howard was ready to take the throne. And with Shaq on a career decline, Dwight went into a phone booth and came out with a new costume to throw down one of the most iconic dunks in NBA history.
Oh my gosh.
Dwight had everyone's mouth on the floor, so he took the Superman love to the next level. He got a Superman motorcycle and even had himself in a super...
But do you think it's a bit childish? These are like fighting over like who's
I think
Superman?
it's not that deep, to be honest. If you want to be Superman, be Superman. Like, have more than one.
Superman hated. And as Shaq retired, he made sure to make the next decade all about terrorizing Dwight.
If all you gotta do is win a dunk contest to be called Superman, don't call me that no more. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Hey, I'm just saying.
But Dwight's Superman branding only grew with commercials like this.
What happened? Well, I was making a cup of coffee. I pressed a button and the machine caught on fire. And then out of nowhere, Superman swooped in and put it out.
Now, the only way he could get his name back was by dropping diss tracks.
Like I said before, you will get devoured. But don't you ever call me Dwight Howard.
Damn!
That's that boy LeBron. Who the hell is the real Superman?
Dwight was truly hurt about his idol bringing him down. So Dwight fought back with impersonation.
Hello, it's Shaquille O'Neal, Phoenix Suns center. I'm the best.
I'm not gonna lie, it sounds just like Shaquille now. Close your eyes and you'll think it's Shaquille O'Neal.
Impersonation.
Hello, it's Shaquille O'Neal, Phoenix Suns center. I'm the best. I'm number one. Ask Kobe, ask Dwayne Wade, ask anybody.
Even after the low blows, the beef was only just beginning. See, Dwight went on wilding out and got absolutely roasted.
He tried with the Magic. That was tragic. And then he tried with the Hawks. That's what he thought. And then he tried with the Rockets. They told his ass they need to stop it.
He got cooked, so Shaq went right to Instagram and laughed at the whole thing. And even after Dwight won his first championship in 2020, Shaq was still clowning. So at the start of the new year, Dwight called out Shaq for a boxing match. Two centers arguing about a superhero name? Honestly, I argue for much less. But it got even worse with the most iconic duo of all time. See, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen went from being the NBA's most iconic duo to sworn enemies. Because in 2020, Jordan and the Bulls dropped The Last Dance, which became the hottest show of the year. The documentary revealed everything from behind the scenes of the championship Bulls, which painted Scotty pretty bad. So when he had a chance to talk about Jordan stealing his shine again, he didn't hold back.
I thought it was a great documentary. I felt like the documentary only told a story that sort of glorified him and not glorified us as a team.
Now look, the episode about Scotty revealed that he signed the worst deal imaginable, because his $2 million salary compared to Jordan's $32 million was on full display. And in 1998, Scotty sat out half the season so he could force his way into a new payday. But Jordan could care less. And while he looked back on the situation, he called him selfish.
I had a ruptured tendon in my ankle, and I decided to have surgery late because I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna my summer up trying to rehab for a season.
Scottie Pippen of the Bulls will be out for 2 to 3 months.
What Scotty was trying to do was trying to force management to change his contract. And Jerry wasn't gonna do that.
And this had Scotty fuming. So in his own book, Unguarded, he was out for blood. I mean, he called out Jordan's selfishness for playing baseball, and MJ was always cheating him out of money when they were gambling. But what made Scotty the most irritated was that Jordan was a producer of the show that made $10 million, while his teammates weren't given a single penny. But that was only the beginning of their problems, because the drama got emotional outside the court. Just imagine watching the child of your closest teammate growing up to violate your manhood. Look, Scotty and his ex-wife Larsa had 4 kids together, but Marcus Jordan, MJ's son, turned into a villain because he was in bed with Larsa every single night. At this point, the hate was never going away.
I think. What? That's MJ's son?
That's what they said.
Huh?
That's
How does that guy?
crazy. How did he end up with, oh my God.
It's safe to say that we all know there's other things Scotty's a little upset about.
Yeah, Scotty's ego is getting disrespected
He
by the
smoked
day. And it was
him.
like that for a while between the greatest duo of all time. Because behind
these
the
two.
highlights and championships, Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal's partnership turned into the most iconic beef in NBA history. Now, when Shaq was traded to the Lakers in 1996, he wanted to win immediately. And Kobe was just a flashy kid out of high school, taking every crazy shot he could think of. So every chance Shaq got, he called Kobe a showboat. Kobe was cool taking shots as the little brother, but during a pickup game in the 1999 NBA lockout is when things reached a boiling point.
We're playing a pickup game. We're on opposite teams and trash talking.
Yes.
And you kept saying, yeah, take that little. I'm looking around. Oh, me.
Yes.
And I said, oh, hold on. Ain't gonna be too many more of those little. And what'd you say? Well, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? The next thing I knew, I saw a big hand coming this way. I remember going this way. And then they all just kind of broke us apart, broke us up.
That set the tone for years of tension. But these two were so great, it didn't stop them from winning the 2000 NBA championship. Now, by 2001, their boundaries were tested, because Shaq showed up to the next training camp overweight, while Kobe was in the gym taking 3,000 shots a day like a freak.
I don't need to get ready for dunking. I'll get ready when I get ready. So because I had you, I was able to just chill out into something.
Yeah, see, that's what pissed me off. That was it right there.
Now, a repeat of golden trophies allowed them to keep it professional. But the basketball court was one thing. See, Kobe's sexual assault court case in 2003 made him the most hated player in the league. So he needed to lean on his teammates more than ever. But after complaining about Shaq's weight to the media again, Shaq lost it. So the next practice, Shaq arrived 20 minutes early because he wanted Kobe knocked out. But before they went went to blows, Kobe poured his heart out and said Shaq never supported him through the most challenging moment of his life. But this time, his teammates actually defended Shaq. This is where things reached a point of no return, because winning couldn't patch things up anymore. So the Lakers needed to choose one or the other. But Shaq was old and kept getting fatter. So he was traded to the Heat while Kobe became the future. And at first, it looked like the Lakers made the wrong decision. Because in 2006, Shaq added his 4th ring and left Kobe in the dust. And after Kobe caught an L in the 2008 finals, Shaq got on a beat and left his enemy dissed.
Last week, Kobe couldn't do without me. You know how I be. Last week, Kobe couldn't do without me.
Now, the Mamba had to prove to the world that he could win without the most dominant center of all time. And in 2009 and 2010, Kobe went back-to-back to claim his jewels and shoved it all in Shaq's face.
He's got one more than Shaq. So you can take that.
Shaq has that coming, though. He was dissing.
Yeah.
That to the bank.
That comment, it sent Shaq into a rage.
Do you think I was pissed when you got number 5?
Of course you were.
Oh,
no doubt.
I told my house.
No doubt. I bet you did.
I went crazy. Because when I got 4, you got 4, I was like, hey, I got 4, he got 4, let's straight. When you got that 5th one, and then hold on, you said, I just wanted to get one more.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Kobe walked away from his career with the upper hand, but the static between Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan was hot from the start. Because their issues go back to the 1985 All-Star game, when Jordan felt like Isaiah Thomas purposely didn't pass him the ball. Now, these comments created the backdrop for one of the most intense rivalries in league history. See, the Pistons were the most dominant team in the Eastern Conference, while Jordan was the best player in the league. So they met in the playoffs year after year. And Detroit had a special set of rules to keep Air Jordan grounded. And the secret formula to the Jordan rules was basically leaving Jordan beat up after every single play. It was clear the Pistons were playing dirty. I mean, the bad boy Pistons were the most hated team in the league, but the only way they could stop being bullies was if the Bulls did something about it.
We got to that hill, we almost looked over the hill. I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated.
And in the 1991 playoffs, the Bulls finally got their revenge. So the Pistons were so salty, they walked off the court without showing any respect.
They just want to win.
Pistons wasting no time in getting out of here.
After finally getting past his toughest opponent, all he wanted was a handshake.
Well, I know it's all bullshit. Whatever he says now, you know it wasn't his true actions then. You know, it's time enough to think about it. You can show me anything you want. There's no way you can convince me he wasn't that asshole.
But the personal issues were about to go to the limit, because when the 1992 Olympics came around, sides had to be chosen. See, Team USA was putting together a dream team of the best players in the NBA, but the only way Jordan was gonna play was if Zeke was out.
Best point guard of all time is Magic Johnson, and right behind him is Isaiah Thomas. No matter how much I hate him, I respect his game.
Now, Thomas was one of the great...
That takes a lot to, if you have like someone that you really dislike, to still give them credit where it's due, you put my hat off goes to that person, because not a lot of people can do that.
Yeah.
His point guards ever. So the move was clearly personal.
I don't know what went into that process. I met the criteria to be selected, but I wasn't.
And Zeke wasn't done talking about it there, because he went to let the world know that when Jordan was in Isaiah's hometown of Chicago as a rookie, he let him have a pass.
And everybody's still cool. Ain't no hate for Jordan. We just want some realness. Ain't nobody nowhere has ever got on national television and called me an asshole and then publicly said you hate me.
Thomas is still feeling that way to this day. Even during the top 75 players of all time ceremony, Jordan and Zeke were right next to each other and still didn't say a damn thing. That's a grudge that will never go away.
That's kind of crazy.
Well, I'll be damned.
Oh, that would be a good video.
What's that? Fight their own coach? Yeah, we should add that to our list.
We will.